Income tax collected at source. Requirement of withholding. 1. In general, except as otherwise provided in this section, every employer making payment of wages shall deduct and withhold upon such wages a tax determined in accordance with tables or computational procedures prescribed by the Secretary. Any tables or procedures described under this paragraph shall apply with respect to the amount of wages paid during such periods as the Secretary may prescribe, and be in such form and provide for such amounts to be deducted and withheld as the Secretary determines to be most appropriate to carry out the purposes of this chapter and to reflect the provisions of Chapter 1 applicable to such periods. 2. Amount of wages. For purposes of applying tables or procedures prescribed under paragraph 1, the term the amount of wages means the amount by which the wages exceed the taxpayer's withholding allowance prorated to the payroll period. B. Percentage method of withholding. 1. If wages are paid with respect to a period which is not a payroll period, the withholding allowance allowable with respect to each payment of such wages shall be the allowance allowed for a miscellaneous payroll period containing a number of days, including Sundays and holidays, equal to the number of days in the period with respect to such wages are paid. In any case in which wages are paid by an employer without regard to any payroll period or other period, the withholding allowance allowable with respect to each payment of such wages shall be the allowance allowed for a miscellaneous payroll period containing a number of days equal to the number of days, including Sundays and holidays, which have elapsed since the date of the last payment of such wages by such employer during the calendar year, or the date of commencement of employment with such employer during such year, or January 1 of such year, whichever is the later. In any case in which the period or the time described in paragraph 2 in respect of any wages is less than 1 week, the Secretary, under regulations prescribed by him, may authorize an employer to compute the tax to be deducted and withheld as if the aggregate of the wages paid to the employee during the calendar week were paid for a weekly payroll period. In determining the amount to be deducted and withheld under this subsection, the wages may, at the election of the employer, be computed to the nearest dollar.